Hi everybody. Well, now that the outside trees are ready, and to be honest, I have nothing to do with hanging any of these lights, but I love to have the outside done before I start working on the inside. It's time to get ready to create the Christmas trees of 2023. Now every year I typically do 7 Christmas trees. This year is a little different, and I blame Disney, but I'll tell you more about that in a little while. So, thanks for joining me on this tour, and I hope you enjoy the Christmas trees of 2023. Tree number 1 of 2023 is called the Marie Antoinette tree. Now this is a tree that actually began in a bit of a different form. It was called the Pink and Blue tree back in 2009, which is the first year I put it up. Now when I post about my Christmas trees on social media, oftentimes I'll get suggestions from people for what I should name the trees. And that year someone said that the tree colors, the pink and the blue, reminded them of Marie Antoinette. And so an idea was struck, and 4 years later in 2013 I created the very first Marie Antoinette tree. So I was surprised this year when I learned that I hadn't put this tree up in 10 years. One of the most famous sayings that is wrongly attributed to Marie Antoinette is, of course, "let them eat cake." Now, even though she didn't actually say those words, I really leaned into it when I was first creating this tree. One of my favorite things about it are these life-size cakes that I found and incorporate inside the tree. You wouldn't believe the number of people who come up to the tree and try and dip their finger in the icing. They are so lifelike. This year I expanded the world of the tree. First of all, I rearranged the living room furniture into what I think of as salon style. And then I added a bit of a diorama on top of the piano. Now, a couple of the items on the piano I kind of repurposed. I thought I was going to use them in a different way. The first thing is the vintage bathtub. Originally I thought, I think I'll fill it full of water and sprinkle it with, fake rose petals, and that will look kind of cool. The large Marie Antoinette doll is what I actually used as the topper of the tree back in 2013. But this year, when I was unpacking everything, I just happened to put the doll in the bathtub, and I thought, that looks kind of cool. And then I found this neat mirror, and as I started repositioning things, I could have Marie Antoinette in her bathtub looking in the mirror. So from one perspective you can see the reflection of Marie's face in the mirror, and if you change your perspective a little bit, you can actually see the reflection of the actual Marie Antoinette Christmas tree in the mirror, which I thought was kind of cool. I often expand the world of trees by hanging things from the ceiling. So for this year, I have suspended pink parasols and bird cages, because some people say that Marie Antoinette was like a bird in a bird cage. And then off to another corner, I did something which I didn't really think of to do until I was in the moment. I had ordered a Marie Antoinette wig, and of course, how else do you display a wig but on a mannequin head? I discovered that it had never arrived, and so I thought, oh gosh, I won't be able to use the wig now. But then I started to refashion some of the boxes that I typically use at the bottom around the tree skirt. But I thought, well, if I just kind of pile them one on top of another, it can kind of look like a fashioned mannequin. And I plopped the wig on the top, and I think it looks kind of cool. So there you have it, the Marie Antoinette tree. Tree number 2 is the Gray and Ivory tree. This tree has only been up once before, in 2012. The color theme actually kind of represented a bit of a challenge for me. It may seem that it would be simple to collect decorations for a tree that's basically two colors, with a hint of red, but finding gray, not silver but gray, and ivory, not white, isn't so easy. The tree itself is unique in that it has a gray tinge to it, so it works really nice with this theme. And then I was inspired to add a touch of red because of the tree skirt that has a little red piping along the edge. Of course, I always like to think about expanding the world of the tree, so here I've hung from the ceiling 3 very simple words: joy, rejoice, and Noel. And you know, I couldn't sum up the season and my Christmas tree decorating weekend any better than that. Tree number 3 is the light blue fairy tree. This is by far the oldest tree that I have up this year. It first appeared in 2002, and it's been up 5 times since then. I found the fairies at a Christmas fair, and I was really thrilled to discover them. There are probably about a dozen of them, and they're all, well, a little quirky, and I like quirky. As a writer who likes to write about underrepresented characters, these kind of appeal to me because they're kind of like the underrepresented fairies of the world. Instead of being the young, cute, typical female fairies, these fairies are mostly male, and they look like they might be in their 70s, 80s, 90s. They're a lot of fun. The color combination of light blue, silver, and white, although not classic Christmas, really tends to be a favorite with people who see this tree. The tree itself is heavily flocked, and I have come to really love flock trees, but the one thing about them is that they're not the easiest to hang decorations on because the branches are so thick with snow. So I made good use of garlands, and particularly garlands that incorporate Christmas baubles. The tree itself is pre-lit with white lights, but I added some blue lights which I hid in the center of the tree, which gives it a nice glow. Tree number 4 is the gold and black tree. Now, believe it or not, this tree was inspired by Kijiji. Yep, you heard that right, Kijiji. I was looking for who knows what on Kijiji a couple of years ago, and I came across someone selling this beautiful gold and black tree skirt with a matching table runner that was long enough for our dining table, and it was cheap. I usually have one of the trees in the dining room, so I thought this is meant to be. This tree is probably the easiest tree to put together this year because I've used black and gold in different combinations before, but never just the two together. And just add a few gold stars in the ceiling and some gold reindeers to complete the tablescape, and voila, you've got a great place to have a Christmas dinner party. I also really love it when a tree works with art in the room, and this one looks super nice next to one of our favorite pieces, which is called Gold Emma by an artist named Iris Hauser. Tree number 5 is the green and white tree. A couple of weeks ago I was at a dinner party, and one of my fellow diners kindly asked what my tree themes were going to be this year. When I mentioned a green and white theme, everyone around the table immediately started talking football. And that's because our team, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, are also known as the green and white, which are their colors. Now, anyone who knows me knows that this probably was not the connection I was making, and there are no footballs and no jerseys in this tree. Now, that being said, this tree actually is my wink at our team in my way, because the Saskatchewan Roughriders are playing a big role in my next book. Yes, this is a shameless book plug time, I guess. The book is called From Sweetgrass Bridge. I incorporate the Saskatchewan Roughriders within the storyline. This is the very first year for this green and white tree. It's a really bright and happy color combination. And what the heck, go Riders! Tree number 6 is the Peacock Tree. This tree has been up twice before, in 2011 and 2013. And now I'm kind of realizing that a number of the trees this year haven't been up in a decade. This is the first time I've been able to use this awesome light-up peacock that basically sits right on top of the tree. The topper I used before is another peacock, and it was covered with real feathers, but it wasn't nearly as big and it had no lights, and as they say in decorating circles, lighting is everything. With this tree, patience was the key, because I found this light-up peacock, probably 4 or 5 years ago, and yet I knew that I wasn't going to do the peacock tree for a while, but I also thought I might never see this again, so I bought it and stored it for years. But now it's paying off. I think I was right to get it, and it looks great, and I haven't seen one quite like it since. Here is where I would normally be talking about tree number 7. But as I hinted at earlier, something different happened this year. And I blame Disney, not Walt Disney, he's awesome, but this is kind of Disney's fault. This year there are actually going to be 9 trees. And here's why. Tree number 7 was meant to be the Disney Princess tree, because apparently part of me is a 4-year-old girl. This tree was up once before in 2015. The tree that I used then was this big 9-foot, really vivid pink tree, and I wasn't all that crazy about how it turned out. I think maybe I chose the wrong tree. So, about a year ago, when I first set my themes for 2023, I planned to use either a green tree or a white tree. Now here's where I blame Disney. The tree was already pretty full, even for a 9-footer. And I don't know if you know, but there is actually a list of official Disney princesses, starting way back in 1937 with Snow White. Since 2015, the last time this tree was up, there have been more princesses added. Currently, there are 13 official princesses, the most recent being Raya of Raya and the Last Dragon. Now, I'm to blame here too, because I'm a bit of a completist. And I decided that I also needed to include former princesses who had been ousted for various reasons. That includes Tinkerbell and Esmeralda, and princesses that aren't official, like the Frozen gals. Also, there's a toddler princess named Sophia. So, with all this going on, I really needed extra tree real estate. That's when the idea came to me that I should have 3 trees, each representing the different eras of Disney princesses. The tree number 7 is the Disney Princess tree, the classic era. So in this era we have Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Ariel from The Littlest Mermaid, Belle from Beauty and the Beast, Sophia, who is the toddler princess, and Tinkerbell. Who can forget about Tinkerbell? Tree number 8 is the Disney Princess tree, the diverse era. In this era, we have Jasmine from Aladdin, Pocahontas, Mulan, Tiana from The Princess and the Frog, and Esmeralda from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. And finally, we have tree number 9, the Disney Princess tree, the modern era. In this era, we have Rapunzel from Tangled, Merida from Brave, Moana, Rhea of Raya and the Last Dragon, and Elsa and Anna from Frozen. Well, we've come to the end of the Christmas tree tour for 2023. And I think the only thing I can say at this point is, if you find something that brings you as much joy as this brings to me, just do it. Doing this is pure joy for me, and my deepest hope is that this tour maybe brings some joy to some of you out there. From me to you, I'm wishing you a very Merry Christmas.